Hello, this is Crazy Kurt the Boat Doctor down here at the bay. Nice conditions today. The current's running about 7 miles an hour. Top speed we got up to was, what was it, 53 miles an hour? 53 miles an hour at 5,500. I might switch that prop to a 15 by 17 stainless polished. It's just going to pick you up about 300-400 Rs. Speed, yeah, you may against the current pick up about 3 miles an hour and do a constant 48 where it was doing about 45, I believe, against the current, or 44. Motor runs out excellent, good water flow. This is a 2018 22-foot Edge Sport. These boats are loaded. I mean, and they're a whole different hole than anybody else. They got a 20 by 60 by 65 degrees. So you got a 20, 60, 65 in the bow. It's got a heavy 5.5 reverse on the outside, which I'll show you on the second video. And this is a variable transitional hull. That's why it's real stable with that reverse lifting strakes. It's got a set of 4 of these on the bottom that helps you lift. And for speed, it's got a welded on kicker bracket. You got your walk-through entry door. Ski pylon. What you can do with this is, if you want, you can cut it down, re-drill it. You can make a fillet table out of here, or make a hand line that you can just re-bolt up underneath here, take it off and you don't want it. Got a built-in crab davit. Got 8 rocket launchers, LED light that'll lighten up the whole thing. There's your anchor light. Works down. All you have to do is hit this switch here, and you hear it go on. Okay, no leaks. Shocked. Okay, and then if you notice right here, everything's bed lined. There's no carpet, except for up in front. We do up front upper tray just for, you know, kind of comfort. Right here, you don't have to worry about anything. Welded downrigger pads, you can step on this, you ain't gonna mark up the paint. That's the cap. If you pull that out, you put the cap in and pin it. Pull the crab davit out, there's the pin for that. This has dual batteries right here. Right here, there's your shut off switch. Here's your relays with your power post. You can shut everything out by pushing that button like this. It locks out. You can fool people with that, and they'll go to start and they can't start it. You just push that back in. Now that's a molar with a little see-through canister on it. I would highly recommend you change your water separator once a year, but go with Yamaha. I'm telling you, they got a lot better paper element in it. These here, Sierra, Moeller, and all those, they have a thinner paper, like a cup of water will plug them, where the other ones you can saturate. That's on the Yamaha. This is your pickup tube for your wash down, goes through the bottom so you can get pick up on that water at most any speed. And there's your drain plug, stainless steel. Now, whatever you do, don't leave that sucker in. If you're going to take it out of the water, if it's moored, there's not much you can do, but get some good grease. Grease that baby up or spray it with Corrosion X and put it in. But when you're at home, you pull that thing out. Don't let it sit in there a month or it'll gold in. There's your primer valve to prime the motor. The arrow's up. You don't want to pump it with that arrow down or it'll back feed. You got 2 bilge pumps. That's an auto. And right over there, those braces. We do have some rod holders that you can bolt right onto those. I had that done later on because it had no rod storage. So Ruben, he kind of didn't want to put any weld marks, and if you notice on his outside of his boat, you don't see a lot of weld marks. Okay, this is your fish box. I use this for tuna, for bleeding. You can throw them up in there. You can put the plug in here. I put it on the outside since it's a new boat, but you can put it in here, tie a string off. You can fill that thing full of water or just bleed your tuna, and then when you get away from your tuna ground, then you can pull the plug and let it drain on out. And then you got a rear cowling fish box as well. It's still pretty good size. Crab, you fill that up with crab if you want. You got 2 storage box seats right here. These are NR2 nitrous. These are actually down all the way. You want to have them adjusted up a little bit, because if you don't, if you hit, they're not going to do you any good because they're bottomed out. You got dual wipers, dual batteries, dual bilge pumps, Yamaha multi-tack. You got a fuel gauge. Turn on the key. You got about 3/4 tank. It had no hours on it. That also does your water and your oil. Okay, now if you happen to get a little flash right there, then that's telling you, hey, you better check your water flow in the back. Same thing with the oil. It would look like a mark like that. Now, say you didn't see that, then it's going to let out a buzzer. Now, if you can't hear the buzzer, you can't see that. It's going to go into reduction gear, which I'm going to show you in a little bit. If it hits the reduction gear, then you know you have an issue. But sometimes if you just get the lights flashing, first thing I do is trim up your motor and see if you got any kelp or anything or bags on your lower outdrive. See if it's on the intake. Horn works fine, bilge works, I can hear it. Nav lights work, courtesy lights, boom, boom. Deck lights nice and bright. Wash down I just showed you. These are auxiliary switches. There's your wipers. Trim tabs, and I'll show you a trick on those too. These motors here on a 250 on up, they spool up when you start them. Now, say you get out here, you were loading the boat. You trimmed it up. You forgot to bring this all the way back. You get out, you turn the key. Uh-oh, what happened? Remember to click that back. Now, say you did it again, it didn't start. Then you probably didn't turn the battery switch on back there. That's two things to look for. Safety lanyard, if that's pulled, it'll crank, but it won't start. So then that's what you would look for there. And then if you do that and you flood the motor, you better walk away for 15 minutes. And then when you do start, just bump start it. See how I just touched the key? That's all you have to do with these. They pre-spool as soon as you turn that, give it any electricity. Now if you push in on this and lift up on this, that puts it into a neutral. So say you flooded it, you can give it full gas, but you try that once, but 10 to 1 you got to walk away for 15 minutes. Now they do have to bleed the steering, because if you see that back there, I got to turn it quite a bit to get that motor to go. And then when I do go over, see how I can still spin it? It shouldn't do that. It should lock up. So this is just word of the wise if it ever happens to you. Normally on a new boat, we do have to re-bleed them after we run them just because there's air pockets. Now when you shift, make sure you shift fast like that. Don't go like this. If you hear that clunk, you're slipping the gears. So go in fast, and that's a D10. So now I'm going to show you what this thing will do. Good, we're doing good on time. That's why I talk fast. That's that's bed liner. Are we going to hit it? 2 seconds to plane. That's awesome. Now, planing speed, I can basically keep this thing down using the trim tabs. Looks like the ocean's rough today. You can see these swells building up right here. So anyway, here's about planing speed, 3,100, about 20 miles an hour. See how I have to turn it? So I'll have them bleed this when we get back. So now we'll go cruising. I go by sound. Just to where the R's start picking up. Right there. So that's 4,400, but 44, 45, you're doing about 36 miles an hour. Now I'm going to hit it. Now if you don't trim it, oh yeah, it must be really rough out there. And when they get like this, we got these swells, you probably can't see it on the camera, but typically when you get these here, that means that ocean's kind of turned up. So that's trimmed down, we're doing... Goes through that pretty good, doesn't it? So now here's another little trivia for you, but when you do this, trim down all the way, then you can steer with these trim tabs. Keep your motors straight best you can. And then about this speed right here, see how it's going to go? It's going to go to the left. Then I trim back up. I want to go to the right. Just pulling us to the right. So you can steer with those trim tabs. If the steering went out, say, where this is acting, it can go out. There you go. All right, I'll do another video here in a few seconds. Boat Doctor out.